Should toilet anchor bolts be replaced with every flange replacement? Yes, replace them when the flange is replaced. When you remove an old flange, you should inspect the anchor bolts closely because they often corrode, strip, or deform from repeated tightening and moisture exposure. If bolts show any rust, thread damage, or bending, replace them immediately with a new match set sized for the flange and toilet base, typically 2 bolts with washers and nuts. Use brass or stainless steel bolts for longer life in moist environments because those metals resist corrosion better than plain steel and maintain clamping force without seizing. When installing, seat the flange solidly to the subfloor and use a level to ensure the flange sits flush with the finished floor height to prevent stress on the bolts that can crack the porcelain. Tighten nuts evenly by alternating sides and stop as soon as the toilet base is snug and no lateral movement remains to avoid overclamping, which can crack the bowl. If the subfloor around the flange is soft or damaged, replace or reinforce the subfloor before final bolt installation to prevent future loosening. The 3 common problems are rusty or stripped threads, which prevent proper torque and secure clamping, uneven or low flange height that puts shear on bolts and leads to leaks, and brittle or seized bolts that break during removal and leave fragments in the flange. For rusty threads, replace the bolt set and clean or replace the flange seating surface, applying a small amount of plumber-safe anti-seize on new steel bolts, or simply use brass bolts to avoid the issue. If flange height is wrong, raise or lower the flange with a flange extender or replace the flange, so the bolts sit flush with the toilet base and compress the wax ring correctly. When bolts seize, cut them off carefully with a hacksaw blade in a reciprocating saw or use penetrating oil and heat if safe, then clear fragments before installing new bolts and a new wax ring. We run bighomeprojects.com to help homeowners connect with local contractors and to give contractors a place to find work related to projects like toilet flange and bolt replacement. We also host a discussion community where we share tips, ask questions, and trade practical advice about installation practices, materials, and troubleshooting.